Okay, so this is going to be probably a short video. No, I don't want to start that way. Let me see. All right, so I have a message for you today. Okay, this was not really a download. This was more like, it was more like something that just like came to me in spirit, was like, share this with them. Okay, so I guess, yeah, it was a download. Some of these things I didn't really think of beforehand, so yeah, we'll call it a download. So this is probably 1:11 on the timer. This probably isn't going to be a long video at all whatsoever, but at 7:41 a.m. yesterday, for context, today is March 27th, 2026. But I only give the date for context and for context only. So if the date means nothing to you, guess what? That means it just means nothing to you, and that's okay. I only give that date so that people can know that this message was meant for them to be seen or heard or something, etc. Okay? So, damn, I want to put my hand in the pocket that ain't even there. Golly. All right. Anyway, at 7:41 a.m., I heard healing is not linear. Okay? That's something like, yeah, I knew that. Healing is not linear. And then that was all I got. But I kept hearing spiral. I kept seeing spiral, hearing spiral after that, but I never wrote it down, right? So then I let the download sit, and I let it just soak into the paper for 24 hours. This morning, when I got up and I was meditating and balancing my energy for the day, etc., that's when I got the rest of this, and my nose just started running. If anyone is new here and doesn't know, when my nose runs, that usually means that there's a lot that's going to come out, okay? So it's an energy thing. Now, this morning as I was sitting here meditating, thinking, talking to God, etc., that's when I heard again, it's a spiral. So I'm like, oh, we're talking about the healing thing again. So this is what, I guess I'll just call this conversations between me and Spirit, because this is what we were talking about, okay? So it's a spiral. Healing is a spiral, okay? It's not linear. Linear means a straight line, okay? It has a start point and an ending point. Healing is not linear. It's a spiral. A spiral is continuous. There is a start point, but the spiral can go on forever, okay? It's not a definitive start and end. It's a spiral. It just keeps going and going. So healing essentially never ends, okay? There's different levels to that shit, but it essentially never ends, okay? Now, healing is a spiral, and we spiral up through our healing. So our healing journey is not a downward spiral. It's not a sideways spiral. It is an upwards spiral. We spiral up through our healing, okay? Now, this is also known as ascension, elevation. We heal and we ascend to the next level of awakening, knowledge, understanding, etc. And then we spiral up through our healing some more and ascend some more and more. So this is basically the same thing. This is the same thing. Ascension and elevation, okay? Now, as we spiral through our healing, upward, through our healing, not only do we ascend, because the spiral is upward, not only do we ascend, but we also expand, just like a spiral does. So, in this instance, when we are healing, we are going in a spiral, but an upward spiral, which gets wider and wider, because a spiral cannot spiral on itself, okay, unless it's a 2D image. Then it can. But even then, the spiral goes bigger as it goes because it's expanding, okay? So we literally expand and ascend like an upward spiral, okay? Up and out, upward and outward. Now, a spiral may go around and round, but it does not only stay on one level, okay? It may rotate around and around, but it does not stay on one level unless it's a 2D flat image. So a 3D spiral, Well, no, even still, that still would apply. It doesn't really stay on the same level. It stays on the same level, but it still expands. Let me break this down a little better. Okay, so a spiral goes round and around in rotation, but it does not stay on the same level. Okay, so a 3D spiral, it goes around and around, but it doesn't stay on the same level. It continues to go up. Okay, even a 2D spiral, it'll go around and around and it expands. So it's still on the same level, but there is expansion. Okay, in this situation, for healing, actively healing, the spiral will go up and out. Okay, I'll break down the 2D spiral in a second. I'm getting there. Okay, bear with me. So a spiral does not stay on the same level. Okay, it has the same rotation sometimes, but it does not stay on the same level. Okay, now a circle, for instance, goes in a rotation the same as a spiral, but a circle stays on the same level. It just goes around where it is, around and around where it is. It doesn't go up because that's a spiral, and it doesn't go down because that's a spiral. It just same rotation, same level all the time, same circle. Okay, that's a cycle. A circle is basically a cycle, and a circle stays on the same level. So with a circle or a cycle, we go around and around, but on that same level. Okay, rotation on the same level. There's no expansion. The circle doesn't get bigger because then it would be a spiral outward. And the circle doesn't get smaller because then it will be a spiral inward. Are you following me? You are. Okay? The circle stays exactly the same. No expansion, no elevation. It's only once you break the circle or break the cycle that the spiral forms. And then you begin to ascend and expand. So only when you break the cycle, the cyclical cycle of the circle, only then does the spiral form. Again, the circle just goes around and around and around. The only time it'll turn into a spiral is if you start going upward, or if you start going down, or even if it's a 2D, you start going out. It's expansion. That's the only way. And even when you do that with a circle, that makes it become a spiral. Okay, so the 2D spiral only expands. That's mental. The 2D spiral only expands. The flat image spiral only expands outward. It does not go up. It doesn't go down. It just only goes outward. Okay, that's mentality. That's mind. That's mental. Okay. The 3D spiral, the 3D image of a spiral goes up or down. In this instance, healing, it spirals up. That is physical. The 3D, literally, the physical, okay? Now, healing is an action. It's an action. You don't just think healing and you're healed. You don't just say healing and it's done. Healing is an action. You have to put in work and time and effort and emotion into healing, okay? Healing is an action. So if you only acknowledge and think about healing, which is like the 2D image of the spiral, you only expand your awareness of what needs to be healed, okay? So if you keep thinking, mental, 2D, if you keep thinking about healing, and you never put in the action of healing, you're only a flat spiral. You're an image of a spiral. You're going around and you're expanding. Your mental is expanding. You're aware of your cycles, but you're still in them. You're not expanding. I mean, you're not ascending. You're not elevating. You're only expanding, okay? So that's still progress, but there's no elevation. Only expansion, only recognition of what's hindering you from elevating, okay? Now, when you do the actual healing work and put in the action of healing, this creates the elevation. This creates the 3D spiral upward and at the same time, the expansion, okay? So you literally cannot expand and ascend simultaneously until you begin the action of healing. You can think about healing all day long. You can know you need to heal all day long. But until you physically do the action of healing, you literally cannot expand and ascend simultaneously. You can only expand. Okay? So without the action of healing, you are simply still in the cycle, in the circle, but with the awareness of the cycle or the circle's existence. You're going around and round with the knowledge of the cycle, but you're not elevating. You haven't broken the cycle enough to elevate. A 2D spiral only grows outward. A 2D spiral only grows outward. It does not grow upward. It does not elevate. It does not ascend. Okay? So basically, the gist of this is you want to be growing out and up. You want to be expanding and elevating. Okay? You don't want to just acknowledge the circle and the cycle and know that you're in it and just remain on that level. You want to know and acknowledge that you're in the circle, in the cycle, and break it so that it becomes a 3D spiral and you are spiraling through your healing and ascending, not acknowledging that there's healing that needs to be done and staying on the same level. Okay? So guys, that's literally that's the message. That's the word for you guys today. I wasn't even going to record today. I was going to chill out and relax and meditate, but Spirit was like, hey, I got something I need you to pass on to the rest of the kids. So I decided to hop on real quick and give y'all that because, yeah, we want to be growing upward and outward. We want to be on a 3D upward spiral through our healing, okay? So action, guys. It's all about action. But that's all I have for you guys in this message. Really quickly, if you have any questions about your spiritual journey, spiritual questions in general, you are welcome to shoot me a line. I have a link down below in the description box where you can send your questions if you have any spiritual questions, and I will answer them anonymously, if you agree, in a video in the future, in a Q&A video in the future. Okay, so if you have any spiritual questions, go ahead and click on that link in the description box. Send me your question and I will answer it for you in a future video. And everything else you need is also down below in the description box if you'd like to book a reading, service, donate, etc., etc., etc. I love you guys. Have a beautiful rest of your day today and a beautiful weekend, and I will see you in another one.